back to another tornado time video. I will be talking about severe weather coming to the northern half of the country, also a tropical disturbance in the Atlantic. So right here, the Storm Prediction Center for today has a slight risk here for North Dakota, most of South Dakota, and the northern part of Kansas. We also have another slight risk for southeastern Illinois. We have some for southern Indiana and some northern Kentucky here. So we also have a large marginal risk out here. It stretches all the way down to Georgia and South Carolina. It goes all the way up north to Minnesota here. So I guess the Storm Prediction Center decided that the southern storm would be worse for producing it. Here is the tornado risk. We have a 2% for North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. Then we have another 2% risk for Illinois, Indiana, southwestern Ohio, Kentucky, extreme northern Tennessee here. And then we also have a 5% risk for Indiana and Illinois here. The wind risk, we have a hatch wind risk for a 15% hatch wind risk for wind gusts 65 knots or greater within 25 miles of a point. For North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska, then we have another 15% risk for Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois. Then we have that large 5% risk out here. The hail risk is much smaller. We do have a hatched risk here. We do have a hatched risk here, though, for North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. Then we have a pretty small, but it's a fairly good 5% risk here for Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. Then we also have another 5% risk here up in the northeast. So if we go check tomorrow's risk, the day 2 risk here, this is a slight risk here for Iowa, western Illinois, and northeastern Missouri. Then we have a large marginal risk stretching all the way down to South Carolina coast and up to North Carolina into Canada. The tornado threat is a pretty large 2% risk for Chicago area, Minneapolis, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, all those areas, Milwaukee. The wind risk, this is a 15% with wind risk here for the areas that the slight risk was issued in. And then we have a hail risk, which is a 5% risk that stretches all the way down from Kentucky up to North Dakota. Now if we go to the day 3 outlook, it is another slight risk for Minnesota, South Dakota, extreme northeastern Nebraska, and Iowa. And then we have a large marginal risk out here that stretches all the way to Pennsylvania and West Virginia, and then it goes all the way up to Canada for Minnesota and North Dakota here, and then the 5% and 15% risk for probabilistic. Anyways, here, if we go check our NAM model here, this is a jet stream right here. This is for Monday at 6 a.m. As you can see, once we reach around 12 noon-ish, this area, there's a really pretty high jet stream. Not as high as we normally see it, but it's good enough. Once we reach at 9 o'clock at night here, the really jet stream is in central Illinois, around Springfield area, and that's like 43 knots, 40s. And then we got another stronger one in southern Iowa here. We also have a big low pressure system which is powering some of the storms here off of the coast of the Northeast. And we have some high pressure here in Texas area. Now if we go check the humidity that we have, this is from Monday here. The humidities this morning are pretty high. If we go into noon, this humidity in Chicago is 97%. That is high, different than the models yesterday. It's almost 100 up here in the north, which is perfect, but it's a bit less where they're predicting a bit. But actually, never mind, it's still very high here where they're predicting the storms to be at. Now if we check the temperatures for today, this is for the NAM model here. This is early today. Let's go to around noon. This is at 6 o'clock at night. Temperatures skyrocket here. This is in the 90s. Oh, never mind. In the 80s, 90s here for where they're predicting it. This is at 9 o'clock at night. Oh yeah, that's in the 90s where they're predicting the main storms to be at. Now if we go into later, this is into Tuesday afternoon here at 9, or this is at Tuesday at 9. Basically the same areas are getting mainly, but in Iowa here we have a big area where it's just not much heat, and all around it is very hot. That's a bit weird. Here now if we check the dew points, let's see them here. They are pretty high. They're good enough for severe weather here. This is at 6 in the morning. Here, let's change it to 9 o'clock at night. We got very high dew points in the 70s, even in the upper 70s. We got even a spot with 80s near Chicago. Yeah, the 80 near Chicago for our dew points here. That's definitely high enough for the storm and humidity. Now if we do go check the Cape here, the mixed layer Cape, let's go see this. This is for obviously 6 in the morning here. If we go to our time of the storms, which is around, well, I'm just going to go check at 9 here. Yes, that's definitely high. That's in the 4,000s. Lower 4,000s where the storms are looking like they should form. Then we got another area in Nebraska right here, which has a pretty good tornado risk, which are also in the 4,000s, lower 4,000. Now if we go check our lapse rates here. Our lapse rate's not very high for early in the morning. Now if we go, it does definitely move out west, but the lapse rates are pretty low. They're kind of high. They're in the sevens, but look out there. That's definitely a good area with the lapse rates. And out here, mainly not. It's not very high. Lapse rates out in Illinois, where they're expecting, they were looking at some storms, but if you want storms out in the west, if there's enough Cape out here, then we can get some good storms firing up. Now if we check the wind shear, this is pretty good here. The wind shear is looking like, well, so far in the morning we don't got much. Oh, I just skipped ahead. This is at Monday at 9 o'clock at night. Look at that area. That's really the only area with high wind shear here. This is 46 knots. That's what I'm, 47, yeah. In the 40s, mid to upper 40s for wind shear. Oh, what just happened? On Monday. Now if we go into Tuesday, this is the wind shear moves more out here, and if you live up in northern Illinois. You got high wind shear. You got in the 60s, 70s near Davenport for wind shear out here. So that's a perfect area if you want it. And then once we move into midnight, it all really goes away. But actually, never mind. It moves into there, but it's not as high as it was. Now, if we want to check the HRRR model for all of the timing of the storm, let's let it load in here. The HRRR model, this is showing for Monday morning, or this is valid for Monday around noon. As you can see in the Midwest, we do have a big storm complex right in Illinois with some more scattered at the south end of it, which they were looking at this for yesterday. They were looking at that setup yesterday too. And then it just transforms into, this is at 1 o'clock on Monday. It just transforms into lots of hail and just a line of storms. So we do have some individual cells out in front of this storm, which is perfect for tornado conditions. And now this is Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now see, down south we got lots of individual cells, which if they can get fired up, we can get some good storms. Now this moves off north, not looking at it too good, but if we pay attention to the south, we got this storm complex moving towards the area where they were expecting it. The Storm Prediction Center was. Now this is 6 o'clock at night. It really just dissipates. Now if we go into Tuesday here, this is Tuesday morning, we really got lots of scattered storms. Very scattered storms. Looks pretty bad with lots of hail Tuesday morning at around 3 a.m. But then look, we got another cell coming in off of Nebraska and South Dakota area. As we move into around noon on Tuesday, we have lots of scattered storms here moving into Iowa. And these storms will hit Illinois, but it's looking like it's showing that it's going to weaken right before it hits. But look in Wisconsin. We got lots of scattered storms up here in central and southern Wisconsin. Now, if these storms can fire off, that will be good. Now, if we go into, this is 10 o'clock at night. If we go into 11 o'clock at night, look at all those scattered storms down south near Davenport. We could check the Cape for Tuesday later, and it's probably going to be very high for that, which will be perfect. And lapse rates are looking pretty high. Same with wind shear here. Look at that big storm. This is for Wednesday at midnight. Now Wednesday, it only goes into noon on Wednesday, but this is what noon on Wednesday looks like. We got lots of storms just all over Illinois. Hammering Illinois here, the HRRR model it is showing, and we got lots of scattered storms on the back of it, and lots of hail near Indiana and Illinois area, which is good. I'm not going to show you the GFS model, but they're not showing as much. They're showing like no storms really coming, they're showing only Monday coming, getting bad storms, and then really not much else. Now we can check the National Hurricane Center here. We do have a disturbance of a cyclone formation in the next 48 hours here off of the coast of South America here. Now, this they are saying could turn into a tropical depression or possibly even a tropical storm soon. And they're showing it moving into Florida area. There's lots of paths that it could go, either into the Gulf of Mexico or right through Florida, or the main one is it going right up the East Coast and hitting like North Dakota or North Carolina area. It's going right up the East Coast. That's what they're showing it. That's the main one that they were talking about. So thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. And see you this afternoon for another weather update.